but let's get in our first corporate voice as well. Surabhi.
Absolutely, and the company on our radar right now is Uno Minda. A lot of global OEMs have been cutting their guidance, talking about sluggish demand, particularly in markets like Europe, and of course China continues to be under a cloud. This includes names like BMW, Volkswagen, a lot of names, brands like Porsche, a lot of them talking about lower revenue and lower guidance as well. So how does this impact the Indian chain, the suppliers and the vendors on the auto ancillary side? So this is what we discuss with Sunil Bohra, Group CFO at Uno Minda. Sunil, thank you so much for joining in. And, that's the overarching theme that we want to discuss with you. But I must say that, under all this cloud, I think in India, there's still a lot of enthusiasm because, you believe that the festive season will be up and about. And there's also a mega listing that's underway, right? Hyundai is going to be coming in with this mega $3 billion IPO. So let's start first with the India demand situation, what you're picking up on ground. And I believe you yourself have gotten into a tie-up with Hyundai for speakers. So just tell us about that as well, because that's something that really excites the market.
So, Surabhi, you are right. The Indian market definitely are in a secular long-term bull phase in terms of the demand. We know that the PV segment has finally caught up last year, and now two-wheeler segment also is doing phenomenally well in high teens so far in this year. For PV market, while the last year volumes are around 4.5 million, if we look at long-term, our view is that industry will grow to 10 million. It's a matter of time, is anybody's guess. People have different projections. But if we were to go back and see from the industry perspective, almost every customer is currently in an expansion phase, and so are we. So we do feel that with the current penetration in India, which is much, much lower compared to even other developing nations, there is a huge potential for growth in the industry. And definitely don't want to talk about the capital markets. They are definitely important, but for us, we focus a lot on industry, on our growth, on our
No, fair enough. No, fair, got that. Just on the Hyundai tie-up, because that was the latest announcement, I think just came in yesterday. We're not asking for specific numbers. If you can't share that, that's okay. But at least some contours of what is this agreement? These are speakers for global markets, for India. How big is the opportunity? Some sense?
So we already have a running business for speakers. We had a joint venture with a company called Onkyo from Japan. So they have obviously had trouble, and they're under liquidation in Japan. So while we have been running the business for quite some time, and we have a lot of technology focus inside in terms of R&D, we definitely saw opportunity in terms of partnering with obviously the global giant and the name what you mentioned. So that obviously builds onto our existing business. It's a little premature to talk about numbers because speakers per se is not a very, very big market. Even our current business is not very big. But definitely this is more of a strategic partnership, and we do believe that this will actually immediately help on our speaker business to sort of grow up significantly.
And this would be for, Hyundai models and cars only here in India in the local market, or even could the tie-up extend to Hyundai, selling globally as well?
So as of now, the market is definitely India. But we will see if there is an opportunity to export.
Okay, all right. Hi, Mr. Bohra. Good morning and good to see you, Ben. A quick word on, I think you get only mid-teens of your revenues from the international market. There have been some guidance cuts. How is demand internationally? Is it a little bit subdued?
So I think we have to see that in two, three parts. First, definitely from demand perspective, last 2-3 years have been really very good. And some sort of softening was expected, but this is maybe people are not ready for this kind of immediate softening. So I think it's here with us in front of us, so we have to face it. But from a company perspective, yes, while it does have some small impact in terms of the volumes drop, what we have been working was in terms of getting more business for newer models. So what we have been trying to work on is that even if there is some softening in demand or volume, which is not in our hand, and we always say that we are definitely, our growth is linked to the OEM growth. So what we have been working is how do we get more business on more models? So what we are trying to do is we are trying to offset our softening of demand versus new business. So for us, broadly, it won't be a significant impact.
And now got that. Sunil, hi, good morning. Prashant here. And I remember asking you about the US, potential US tariffs. At that, I remember the number 3-4% direct exports to US, right? I think you had said
Yes.
then. So, yeah, I mean, the bet is that you've got the widest product offering and you'll be able to mitigate any slowdown with by supplying to more and more players, etc. Could you just give us that sense? What is the value add? How much of your products go into the passenger car right now? What is the? We've spoken about these numbers in the past, but if you can update, and where do you see this going? That number going?
In terms of domestic market or US?
Give us domestic and sort of exports as well.
So we have roughly around 18-20 businesses which we cater to PV segment, which are ranging from all the EV agnostic products, be it seating, lamps, etc., to EV products, which is in addition to 18-20 businesses. From export perspective, since we have some joint ventures where the products, the territory is India. Obviously, we don't want to compete with our partners. So from that perspective, there is a limitation to export, like your airbags or products like filters, etc. But from our perspective, what products we have, we are currently exporting seats, we are exporting switches, we are exporting lamps. So I think these are three key segments currently we are exporting from India. Plus, we are working on 2-3 products more to add within next 12 months.
Okay, so, let's talk about the overall projections as well. If you could just once again give us a split between the revenue pie, how much is local and how much is exports, and overall growth, considering the export bit is sort of, slight questions there as you're also pointing out. How will the individual businesses grow? Right now, we're talking about top line growth.
Yeah. So from domestic versus export perspective, our domestic business is roughly around 85-86% of our total revenues. And export is around 13 to 15%, depends on quarter to quarter how it moves. And when we say export, that export also includes whatever we do last mile assembly or the local manufacturing in the different regions. So it's a mix of both physical export from here and also last line assembly at the global operations. In terms of growth, Surbi, that we always say that whatever is the industry grows, our endeavor is always to grow 1.5 and above, and we are pretty confident that we'll be able to meet the target. Because from revenue perspective, it's very difficult to give a number given that our destiny is linked to OEM, and I think this is the consistent we have been talking in the past as well.
No, fair enough. So, okay, you will grow 1.5% above industry. What is the industry projection now? Because it's too many moving parts. That's the issue, Sunil. PVs, there's concern about demand being very, very sluggish. CVs, there is no meaningful pickup even now. So therefore, what is the industry growth? And you're saying you'll do at least 1.5% above that.
So while it is, again, as we always say, we don't comment on behalf of our customers. But if we go by facts or the numbers till now, the two-wheeler segment is growing into mid to high teens for last 5 months. And PV also is a mid-single digit number, which is a good number given that last year, 2 years have been a significant growth. And yes, from short-term perspective, there are various beliefs that the demand might be softening, etc. But I think the festival season is coming just off the corner. I think it's just a couple of months away. So we can wait and see how the festive season pans out. But I must say that we always say we are in the business for long term, quarter to quarter, year to year. Yes, things can go up and down, as I was saying a little while back. We are in a long-term growth market. Industry has to grow from 4.5 million to a 10 million car market. China is at 27 million. So we are way behind in terms of our penetration. Income levels are rising, aspirations are rising. And that is what we firmly believe, and we are continuously investing in our businesses.
All right, Sunil, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Good speaking with you. Appreciate you joining in here on CNBC TV 18.